without any further introduction, I want you to join me with Mike Dalke in winter marketing prep, or preparing for how to prepare in the winter for your spring marketing. How's that?
Hey, Podcast Network, happy February. In February, we are going to focus on growing our business, and we're really going to be focusing on dialing in our market plan, specifically for the very short period of time, and then generally for a long period of time. So growing Blue Skies, we grew it to $5 million of revenue. We had 128 employees at our peak. And then growing also multiple home services businesses. The winter is always slow for us. It was always that I always felt broke. No matter how much cash I had in the bank going into the winter, I always felt broke in February. And I wanted to get revenue coming in so bad. So one of the things that was a core focus was making sure that I had the marketing plan dialed in for March, April, May, and June. In June, everything kind of slowed down at the end of 4th of July. We did a reset. I would get some preliminary numbers in for July, August, September, October. But really going into the February timeframe, I was really, really laser focused on making sure March, April, May, and June were great. So a couple of things to work into your marketing plan. March for us in Minnesota was always super cold, and it was really, really not the best time of year to be marketing. If the sun wasn't out, marketing to new customers was dead. So we found out through spending tens of thousands of dollars that the sun coming out and providing good weather was more useful, more beneficial to us, for us, than getting a marketing camp going to new clients. Now the difference was we had existing clients that were willing to get their windows cleaned in March if we gave them a special offer. So we ran radio ads, we ran Valpak, we ran Google. We did all kinds of stuff in March to try to pull demand forward, and it never worked for new customers. Doesn't mean we didn't run the Google and some of the pay-per-click stuff, but we didn't do our big media buys. We were buying probably $400,000 a year of media at our peak. We didn't do any of that until after the sun came out. So first thing I'm going to suggest to all of my friends out there is that in March, you have a special offer for customers who buy in March and get cleaned in March. If they get cleaned in June, it doesn't help you because you're going to be so full of existing or new clients, it doesn't matter. So you're trying to pull demand out of those super busy months and put it in March, which for us wasn't super busy. If February is your non-busy time, in March you're rocking and rolling, pull it into February. So for us, we did a 10% off deal. And I would suggest that 10% is not the right deal. We always have better success with $100 off, $50 off, whatever it is for you that your good offer is. Let's get that dialed in for March. So what we did is we sent 3 postcards to every one of our existing customers. And then we also sent out 3 emails to every one of our existing customers. And that was usually enough that we did. We didn't do the text message. We didn't do a voicemail bomb through SendJim. We kept those things in our back pocket for later. But we did do the emails, and we did do the postcards. So those go out. So first week of March, we hit. Second week of March, we hit. Third week of March, we hit. We do not market in the 4th week for that sale because it's too late. By the time they book, it's not really happening. And I would say that if we were doing $400,000 of revenue in a year in Minnesota, we would book anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000 and pull that forward. So we'd almost get 5 to 10% of our revenue pulled forward and out of those super busy months. So that's the first thing we did. Then we've got our April, May, and June. So April was not as big of a month for us as May and June. So again, we were trying to pull demand forward. So what did we do in the beginning of April? As long as the sun was out, we would at this point send a text message saying, hey, would you like to get on the schedule? We used Text Magic at the time. SendJim just come out with a new program. We'd probably use that instead. So we would send our text saying, hey, would you like to get on the schedule? We would wait, give the three email campaign we just did, we would give that a little break. We'd wait till the sun got out and the weather was great. We'd keep that email. We'd schedule it for the third week in April, and we'd get ready for that third week where we could send an email. So we're sending a text at the beginning of April saying, hey, love to get you on the schedule. Haven't got you on. Schedule fills up fast. So want to give you first priority. So that text goes out in April. Third week in April, we got an email scheduled. Also in April, we start our primary marketing campaign. So for us, we had three main drivers of leads. We had Valpak and or Moneymaker, your coupon books in the mail. We had our Google pay-per-click, Facebook, our digital advertising. And then our last one that we had was radio. We bought a lot of radio. I know that up in Minnesota, Andy, who bought our business eventually, he's having great success with billboards. Yeah, other people have great success with GMBs and other crazy stuff. But for us, those were the three. So our radio campaign started, our Valpak campaign started, and our digital campaign started in April. So always, 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 we had an offer, a deadline, and a call to action. So at the time, you know, it might be, hey, we're going to do 25 window panes for $149 or whatever that was. But we always had an offer, deadline, and call to action. And the offer, almost always, the deadline was at the end of the month. So if you call in and book before the end of April, for April, we're going to give you this. So again, we're trying to pull that demand forward. Now in May, we are fully locked and loaded. We are running hard and hot on our marketing campaigns. People are starting to see them. People are starting to call in. We are sending out another email blast saying, hey, we'd like to get you on the schedule. We are sending out another text only if we need to because our schedule's not full. And then we've also started at this point our cold calling, our calling campaign. So our CSSRs were required to book 2 jobs an hour. Now, if they weren't booking 2 jobs an hour, we needed them to start calling our client list, starting with the biggest jobs first. And we would say, hey, you know, we haven't seen any of the books this year. Can you get on would you like to get on the schedule? And so if they were getting enough call-ins to book 2 jobs an hour, we didn't worry about how many outgoing calls they made. However, if they weren't booking 2 jobs an hour, they were required to start picking up the phone and making some dials. So we had that going in May. Same program in June, 1 email. We keep the text and the voicemail bomb in our back pocket in case we need it. We're trying not to. We're trying to stay full that whole time. Our Valpak and print campaigns are fully loaded and rocking and rolling. We're asking for referrals on every job. Our media radio stations are going. We are dialed in on our campaigns. And then we're adding in May that cold call campaign, and in June we're running that cold call campaign as well. So we've got it all dialed in. Again, if I can help it, I'm going to wait till the last second to use that voicemail bomb and that text deal. So that is how we're laying out our campaigns. March is all about an offer that's really attractive to pull demand forward, get our text working. April is still about pulling the demand forward, but the offer isn't as attractive, and we're starting our campaigns. It takes a little while for them to heat up. May, we are running 100% on our campaigns. We have an offer deadline and call to action. We have sent out an email, at least 1 email to our existing client base to get going. And we're starting our calling campaign to make sure that we are calling every customer to make sure that we're not missing anybody. And then lastly, we are focusing on June, which is picking up the pieces. We've got a voicemail bomb in our back pocket and a text message if we need to generate some quick demand. So that's what we did on the outskirts in February to make sure that we'll dial in. More to come in future days, but I hope you can go out and start planning your week with this information.